All right. So first of all, let me give props here. I was taught this by a guy. Just a second here. Him. General Ramsey, with a 4-star general, chief of defense staff, Canadian Armed Forces. I can't tell you why I know him or what I did for him, because when you sign the Official Secrets Act, it's good for 25 and 50 years, and the one I signed was 50 years. So I can't tell you what I did for him, but he taught me this GOPS thing. And so what you would learn from me is just a second, I want to get the list of the 4 points here. Okay, goes like this. Goal, objective, plan, strategy, and tactics. So what happens often is people say, oh, I have goals. One of my goals is to get a good job, marry an attractive person, have a nice house. I said, those aren't goals. Those are measurable objectives, which if you accomplish them, will lead you to say, I have a happy life. So say your goal is have a happy life, and then you define what goes into happy life. Maybe the house is not all that important. Maybe the spouse is number one, or maybe the job is number one. But a lot of companies fail because they think, okay, they need to max out this, and they don't balance against other things. So I was taught that a goal is a singular, not a plural. The goal is to win the war, right? There's 3 objectives. One is to attack on a nighttime which there's no moonlight. And secondly, when the tide is surging. And thirdly, to alternate different sort of ground fire and airborne, et cetera, et cetera. So this is an example of it in real life, and an example of some of the wording that you would have. So let's say your goal is to be the largest car dealership in the GTA by sales amounts. And you have 3 different objectives because there's 3 different parts of the GTA, right? There's a Mississauga side, there's a Scarborough side, and the downtown side. So part of what this does is it forces companies to think about what are the things you need to do to be able to develop this. And I did it in real life with a number of different companies. And the reason why it fits with the SWOT is you need to do the SWOT first, because there's no sense trying to be excellent at something if you don't have the strength to do it. So you have to identify what the weaknesses are. And then oh, just a second here. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm standing in the middle of doing my last class.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I'll call you back when I'm finished, okay?
Okay, bye.
All right. So it says Taylor Richardson. That's my son. It's okay to take calls from children. Yeah. So you guys can read this over later. All you have to do is just Google GOPST, and then you'll find it.
Did you still have that bottle of scotch I gave you that has this on it?
Yes. Yes. The reason why I like this so much was because a lot of people put things in the wrong order. They thought it's strategic. They'd say, well, we have a strategic plan. I went, no, you don't. A plan is a plan. Using the adjective strategic doesn't make it more expensive unless you're a consultant and want to charge more. No. And then the word objective. Objectives have to be things that count. So if I say, I'm going to lose weight, I was going to say, when? Not what, when. When are you going to start, right? So the thing about objectives is you've got a goal. The number one goal is to do A, B, C, D, whatever it is, right? So it might say, graduate from college. Now, here's the objectives people are going to think about. Well, I got to get high marks. That's not one of the objectives. One of the objectives is you're going to have enough money to pay tuition to be at college long enough to graduate. Okay? What's another objective? That you're in a program that you're interested in, can sustain that interest long enough to graduate. What's another objective? That you have a place to go to, that you're not living 1,000 miles away from where a college might be. So objectives are things you need to accomplish, things that you can count or measure, and then the accumulation of them allows you to say, okay, we reached that, therefore we can accomplish the goal. Because if you don't have objectives that aren't countable, you can't measure your success. So in the example of the car dealership thing, if you said, okay, our goal is to be the largest car dealership in the GTA. one objective would be to the largest car dealership by sales in Scarborough, then the one for Toronto, then the one for Mississauga. And here's why you know this. Because then if you look at the numbers of cars that are being sold in Scarborough, and if they're a little bit less than the ones in Mississauga, then you make a different plan. You take 3 or 4 staff here and move them to there. But that's what a lot of companies don't bother doing. They don't take it down to the point where they say, we have metrics to be able to make a decision that we need to do something. So then you get down into strategies and tactics. And tactics are things like you take your clips for your M16, you tape 2 of them back to back like this. So when you're firing and the clip ends, you flip the door and fire. So the other people who are listening think there's a larger force on this side than there actually is. Does that make sense, Sam? All right.